Well, hey there, guys. Welcome to the new installment of Filthy Sports. My name is John Campia. We got Matt here today. Ryan's here.
Hey, guys.
Ray's here.
Yes, sir.
And you guys are here joining us. Thanks a lot for sitting in and joining us as we talk about the week that was in sports. We got a lot of things we're going to talk about here today. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with this. Every week, Aaron Rodgers just keeps giving and giving and giving things to talk about. Oh, I'm going to go on with this for a while. I remember when the season started, and I said, guys, the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers is at best, a mid-tier NFL quarterback. I said, John, you're crazy. Well, now at best, he's a lower-tier quarterback. And then when they went out and got Adams, and I said, this is marginally going to improve. I said, it's a good move, but it's marginally going to improve them. And I said, John, you're crazy. They're going to be great now. They've won one game since then. But anyway, the drama with Aaron Rodgers continues because apparently, and I didn't even know you could do this, he is refusing to get medical scans out of fear, according to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, because he's afraid that he'll get benched and not play again, not be allowed to play. This comes to us from Yahoo Sports. Their headline is, banged up Aaron Rodgers reportedly resisted medical scans out of fears Jet will force him off the field. The article writes, the New York Jets are on a bye week this week, but the drama swirling inside the troubled organization hasn't taken a break. Aaron Rodgers, who has been described as banged up for the past few months, has reportedly been resisting medical scans offered by the Jets. According to Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, Rodgers hasn't wanted to reveal the severity of his injuries out of fear of having to come off the field. Banged up is an all-encompassing term used when a player is dealing with multiple injuries and yada, yada, yada. All right. So here's my thing. First of all, if you're a player in the NFL, I had no idea. If you would have asked me, John, under the collective bargaining agreement, like you're playing for a team, the team is paying you millions and millions and millions of dollars. If they want to take physical on you and a medical on you, you've got to do it, right? I would say, of course you do. Do you not? So the basic thing here, Ryan, you and I were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Is that there are stories going around that the Jets just want to put him on IR and just finish him for the season and cut him.
Yeah.
And that story's been swirling around. Now, just for the record, though, the New York Jets interim coach, is saying definitively, no. Aaron's our starting quarterback next week. So, okay, there's that. But then this story is basically saying he's afraid to get scanned because he's afraid they're going to find something that will justify them putting him on IR and sitting him out. And I have to ask the question, is he right to be afraid of that? I mean, it would have seemed inconceivable 2 months ago, but is there validity to these rumors going around that the Jets are actually looking for a reason to bench him and thus then cut him? So I got to ask, is he worried about getting benched? And then the second question is Aaron Rodgers, like I've been saying that I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to be done after the season because I don't think he's going to want to do it anymore. Right? You're just watching him play. He clearly is not having any fun. He's not enjoying this. He's in the darkness because he's familiar with the darkness.
What is he owed next year? Do you know? Does anybody know? It's a lot of millions, right? All right.
It's a lot.
Okay.
If he plays next year. And by the way, it's team option. Uh-huh. It's not, next year's not guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
So I've been thinking he just wants out. But let's say he wants to play. Mm-hmm. Question one is he afraid of getting benched? But question two is now, if Aaron Rodgers is available next year, and I'm betting anything he is available next year, I don't think the Jets are going to want to keep him. I think they're going to call this whole experiment a disaster and move on. Is there a place, because Aaron Rodgers isn't going to go anywhere to be backup quarterback.
No.
So is there anybody that is going to pick up Aaron Rodgers next year, considering the circus it has been with the New York Jets since he joined? Ryan, start with you. What do you think?
Well, for the money part, his contract was $75 million guaranteed and an average of $37 million a year after that.
Yeah.
So,
but I know next year's
is last year. Yeah, that's it. As far as him going to another team, I don't know. He hasn't shown anything, which kind of, I think, is part of this. He doesn't want to get these scans and go on IR because he doesn't want other teams to think he's an injury concern, even though he is. They'll be 41 next month coming off that Achilles tear. I think the rumors or whatever it was, he's had hamstring issues and ankle issues this season,
right?
Which obviously would hamper your mobility and all that.
And I think a swollen knee at some point or something like that.
So there's a lot of stuff going on.
He's got old legs.
Yeah, he's
got old man legs.
Yeah, I got those too, man.
So I don't know exactly who would take a flyer on him with the added drama and stuff that comes from off the field. I think you're better off going with a younger quarterback if you have a draft pick or someone else, or taking a chance than bringing him in and maybe getting a season out of him or less if he gets hurt again. I wouldn't think he's worth it at this point. He hasn't shown. I know the first year on the Jets he got hurt, but the second year he obviously hasn't shown really anything. So I don't know. I wouldn't take the chance with my franchise and give him a shot.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody, no place else. Not that's like, boy, would they have an Aaron Rodgers size hole?
Or like if or they're so bad, even if he was good, it wouldn't be enough to fix it. So I don't see it. Like Raiders have quarterback issues, Titans have quarterback issues, but him going there is not going to solve it.
Right.
So I don't see it.
Well, I mean, the two teams that come to mind is, Gardner Minshew went down.
Sure.
The Raiders are awful.
Okay.
So
sure, let's do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look,
they don't get nearly enough time on this show, and I'll tell you one guaranteed way to get on these airs is
get Aaron Rodgers.
Put this guy over there.
But listen, with their starting quarterback, they're terrible.
Yeah.
The Raiders, right? With Gardner Minshew. So he's down. So my first thought is...
And they just stole that wide receiver one, so they're like, oops.
But, there's that. Do you bring back Adams now? So, but then the other big problem, though, is... There's a new minority owner at the Raiders.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. And he ain't going to want
I was going to say, does this help or hurt? It doesn't seem like it
Like, he
help.
wants a good quarterback in there, right? So I don't think you get that. Then I thought about Tennessee, maybe, Carolina, but they've got the rookie.
Yeah.
And he looked all right this week,
that brings up the other possibility for Aaron Rodgers. Here's not a bad idea, all right? I wouldn't hate the idea because this season has shown us that just taking a quarterback out of the draft and thrusting him into the starting position has not worked out so well. Like what happened to like Aaron Rodgers thing where Aaron Rodgers got drafted, sat a number of years behind Brett Favre, came out as one of the all-time greats, right? Tom Brady came into the league, sat behind somebody else, came out the greatest player of all time. I don't hate the idea of Aaron Rodgers going to a team that is either currently has a rookie quarterback that isn't living up to their potential, or B, has a high draft pick going into next year where they'll probably draft a quarterback, and have Aaron Rodgers there basically like for a year and teach that kid how to play quarterback and then hand it off to the kid the following year. I don't hate that idea. Matt, you seem to hate the idea.
I don't hate that idea. I just don't. Well, at that number, probably not. I just like this move is, as I'm thinking about it, it's perfect. Refuse medical treatment. And then and either be forced to give it and you're the ultimate warrior. They had to drag you off the field or finish it up. And then at the end be like, my leg was exploded the whole time anyways. And then you're like, oh, okay. Well, then next year we'll run it back one more year. Yeah. Contract done. This is a genius move.
It's really up to him, right? Because that means he's basically coming in knowing he's just there to groom the next quarterback and train him. Whereas like this one, obviously he went to the Jets. It was like, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl. So I guess if the expectations straight out the gate on the new team are
tread water,
we just need someone to throw the ball and teach this guy not to be a knucklehead. Although I don't know if Rodgers is the best guy to teach that.
I can't think of one better candidate.
So I don't know.
For my young,
I don't know if I would want to take that chance. I'd rather hire Flacco to come in or someone else like that.
Actually, that's a good pick.
So I don't know. Unless he really turns it on and can show these last few games that he can do it,
I don't think
so. So to me, I think he's done. Will someone give him a chance?
Sure. They had that win over the Texans a few weeks ago, but it turns out the Texans aren't as good as people thought they were.
They've been losing.
So there's that. Now, I think this is a good opportunity with all that he's been banged up. Ray came up with this great idea for a new segment. Oh. It's an injury report segment called Real Injury or Little Bitch.
Yeah, this is Ray was going to spearhead this one.
Real injury or little bitch. Gardner Minshew is out with a broken collarbone. Real injury or little bitch?
Yeah. Did I mention we should keep that in-house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was off air. That was incompetence.
Supposed to be
Sean.
incompetent.
Hey,
These
man,
cowards with these broken
I could
bones.
make fun of Aaron Rodgers' mom, right, or dad,
Whoa.
right now, and he still wouldn't have enough heat on me as he probably does with John. Because this has been Filthy Rogers Sports Show.
Yeah.
I just talked about what I thought would be a good place for him next
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hospital.
Anywhere. Yeah,
You just checked him in.
You just checked him in.
What kind of scans are we talking about?
This is what I want to know. What's
Do they hurt?
Yeah.
Those are two simple questions that we should answer.
Yeah.
And then with that, you'll
can-
get your answer.
That's right. I can live with this cavity.
Yeah.
I don't need you poking around, fucking my day up.
Because he asked real injury or little bit. So two questions I asked back is,
Where are you gonna put it?
do these scans hurt?
And how long? Yeah. That's what's up.
And then you'll find your answer. I'm not going to answer it for you.
All right,
Think for
guys.
yourself.
The question is for you. What do you think about this? That apparently Aaron Rodgers is refusing scan, afraid to be benched if he's out of the Jets next year. Do you think he plays? If so, where does he go? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's talk about this for a second. Fascinating game, Sunday night game last night, as the resurgent Philadelphia Eagles, who were 2-2, not long ago, were 2-2, and talks about, are they about to fire their coach? All this kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Since then, they've ripped off 7 wins in a row as they played the resurgent LA Rams, who've won 4 of their last 5. Very reminiscent of last year and are playing really good football. They got Cooper Kupp back. They got Puka back and healthy, all that kind of stuff. And the Eagles just owned them. Like they just, the score wasn't completely lopsided, but they clearly dominated the game. And I remember watching it, like I can't remember who the color guy was last night, but said the thing about this Eagles line is they just begin to wear you down. And they said this in the first half. He said in the first half, it looks close, but then the results of them just beating you down catch up to you in the second half. And that was clear and apparent. The Eagles are the greatest example of the team with the best line. 9 times out of the 10 is going to be the team that wins. And they just dominated them on the line, wore them down. But one of the great things about that line is their running back, Saquon Barkley, rushed for, what is it, 200? How many rushed? 250?
255.
255.
Well,
200.
two long runs, like
Yeah.
70 yards.
Over
and-
70 yards,
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
But 255 yards, 2 touchdowns. And it's, for most of the season, the debate about MVP, okay, is it going to be Lamar Jackson again? Outside chance, could it be Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes not having a Patrick Mahomes kind of year? Is it Josh Allen? Is it Jared Goff? But now there's a new name that people are talking about. That's Saquon Barkley. Saquon, and this is how dominant he's been, okay? Right now, everybody thinks running backs in the NFL, they're thinking of Derrick Henry. Saquon Barkley has over 200 more yards than Derrick Henry does. That's like, even if Saquon Barkley sat for the next 2 games and Derrick Henry had 200-yard games rushing, Saquon Barkley would still be the leading rusher in the NFL. Like, that's how dominant. And then he's putting on these Showtime highlights with the reverse, like leapfrog and all this kind of stuff. And he's ripping off these runs and he's just looking incredible. And so a lot of people on a lot of the sports channels, like I was watching, like Pat McAfee, First Take, Get Up, all of them, Eisen,
Rich Eisen.
was all talking about, like, is he now the guy? Is he the one? And look, if the season were to end today, I think you can make a really good argument for Saquon Barkley maybe getting it. There are still more games to go. I still think Jared Goff is probably going to separate himself from everybody and win it. But it would be insane if he did, because, look at this. I've often argued that the NFL MVP is kind of a joke because they start and finish their search for an MVP at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Whereas they might as well just call it the league's QB MVP, right? Because the last time a non-quarterback won MVP, you got to go back to 2012. Adrian Peterson.
But it was a running back.
But it was a running back. And then you got to go all the way back to 2005 and 2006 when Sean Alexander and LaDainian Tomlinson won. So 3 times since 2001. 3 times in the last 23 plus years. So they hardly ever give us. So that means it's going to be stacked against them. Listen, if Saquon pulls off another 1 or 2 games cracking 200,
Yeah.
I think there may be a very strong chance he
He'll probably
does
have
get
to.
it.
Yeah, he'll probably have to do that.
Yeah, but if he, gets 80 yards, 110 yards,
Yeah, if he
whatever.
does a flip
Yeah.
over
If
somebody,
he does a big jump flip into the end zone,
lock it up.
Yeah.
Lock it up.
it's
Yeah.
greatest showman time right there.
That's right.
This is the greatest show. And he's in. He's in. Otherwise, I still think it's probably going to be. But then you don't know what's going to happen with Jared Goff. I mean, he might throw 4 interceptions tomorrow. He had that one awful game that they still won.
Yeah.
A lot of people are still thinking Josh Allen. I mean, after beating up on the Kansas City Chiefs and whatnot, they went out. I mean, you're going to have a strong case for Josh Allen. But, I mean, Saquon puts up another two bill on a couple of people. There could be a shot at this. Anyway, Ryan,
Yep.
you saw the game. What do you think of his
Unfortunately.
performance?
My Rams got stomped.
And what do you think about the argument of maybe Saquon, a running back, which hasn't happened in 14 years or 12 years? What do you think?
Based on his stats, I mean, the on pace thing can always be off, but basically he's on pace to break Eric Dickerson's single season record, which is 21:05. They're saying if he's on the pace he's on now, which last game 200 whatever, who knows if he gets something like that again, but if he breaks the single season rushing record, he'll get it.
Yeah.
That thing has been in place since the 80s. I think that's a huge, especially in this day and age in the NFL where it's very pass heavy and he's running up his totals this high. I think he can get it. Otherwise, it's going to probably be Josh Allen or Goff, depending on record. It's always, like you said, John, it's always the quarterback. For offensive player of the year, he's pretty much, I think he's going to get that. But MVP, if he breaks the record or gets very close and the Eagles finish strong, I think he can get it. Otherwise, it's probably going to go to Goff or Allen unless both of them completely tank.
Yeah, they give that. It's a quarterback award, right? I'm
mean,
looking
it was-
at this now. Like they gave it to Aaron Rodgers 3 times.
Yeah, and it was like
since a running
It
back
was
won.
like Manning, Brady, Rodgers, flip flop,
Yeah,
and
for-
Mahomes.
yeah.
for a decade plus. So
Yeah, he could get it. That offensive player of the year, lock it up. But
Now, that brings up another thing, though, is that, my criticism is that you might as well call it the quarterback MVP.
Yeah.
Also, you might as well call it the offensive player MVP because
Sure.
they never, there were 1 or 2 years that I thought Aaron Donald was flat out the best football player on the planet. And Aaron Donald never got MVP. I mean, he got defensive player of the year, but he was a couple times clearly the best football player in the world.
Yep.
And they never gave, little trivia for you. When's the last time a defensive player won the MVP? Any guesses?
Lawrence Taylor.
Bing, bing, bing.
Oh, okay.
Lawrence Taylor in 1986,
I mean, he
That's
blew
the
up,
last
he blew up
defensive one?
Theismann's leg.
40 years ago.
I don't know if it was that season, but he was
38 years ago.
literally that was a guess. Yeah, it's him or maybe I don't know Ray Lewis, but I don't even know
those
who else
Baltimore years when
would
they
have
had-
been up there.
Yeah, 1986. I mean, I know this is a side note, but I don't know why they don't seriously consider defensive players for player of the year.
I
Because there's
think
some guys
that's-
just tearing it up.
I mean, that's why they do the defensive player of the year and then the MVP because of that. But I think you're right. Like most valuable player is still the most valuable player. If he's the best guy in the league, I think he should be up for the votes. But quarterbacks have such a stranglehold on the outcome of a game that
oh yeah, and I get it. I mean,
So-
quarterbacks. I mean, they literally have the ball in their
yeah.
hand half the game.
Yep.
Like I get it. I get why it goes that way a lot, but
And if they stink, you're toast.
your
Yeah.
team's done. But I also think, man, there have been some defensive performances that I think deserve more attention when it comes to the MVP race, right?
Yeah.
But that's an aside thing. So okay, so if Saquon just has like say 100-yard games here out, I don't think he wins MVP.
probably not.
If he puts up another 2 bill and has another game like that and doesn't go on some fumble streak,
Yeah.
I think he could win it. But then again, it then depends on what happens. Like, for instance, this coming Sunday, Josh Allen goes in and puts up 385 yards and 4 touchdowns. That could end the conversation too.
Yeah. And then the Eagles are running away with their division now.
Yeah.
So are they going to sit people the last couple weeks? Maybe
Those last 2 weeks, Cowboys
depending
and Giants.
depending how, because they're only one game behind the Lions, I think, right? So they could get the 1 seed if the Lions lose again. So I mean, they do have a incentive to win, but if they lock it up or they can't catch it, they're going to sit guys.
Spoiler alert: the Lions aren't losing. The Lions aren't losing again. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about it? Could we, for the first time in like 12 years, see a running back win NFL MVP with Saquon Barkley? I mean, he puts up a couple more games like he had last night. It's a really strong possibility. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of the biggest surprises to me of the NFL season this year is the Denver Broncos. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think I picked them to win more than 4 games this year. As of right now, they're 7-5. And by the way, they came within a last-second blocked field goal of being 8-4 and beating the defending Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs. And big part of that is the huge emerging of Bo Nix at quarterback over there, who, like, in his first 2 games, I think he had threw 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Since then, I think he's thrown 16 touchdowns and 2 interceptions since the first 2 games. He's been ripping it up. And as a result, the Rookie of the Year conversation, by the way, they just had another big win this weekend. The Rookie of the Year conversation, which for the majority of this year has been a one-name conversation. Jaden Daniels. That's it. That's been the name. Jaden Daniels, who had a terrific start to the season over in Washington. Well, Bo Nix starting to tear it up, combined with, don't look now, Washington's lost 3 games in a row. And by the way, a couple of those losses, no shame. They just lost to the pathetic Dallas Cowboys.
Pathetic.
Dallas Cowboys without their starting quarterback. And they lost to them. Now, Jayden Daniels has still looked good, but I think the question is now starting to be raised around sports circles is the Rookie of the Year award now kind of Bo Nix's award to win? Like, if everything keeps going the way it's going right now, again, it looked like you were going to get big odds on betting Jayden Daniels just a couple of weeks ago, but now it looks like it's shifted to Bo Nix. Because I'll tell you right now, if I had a vote, right now, Bo Nix is the Rookie of the Year. Ryan, how do you see it?
I think we got to finish. Well, as of right now, I think I'd go with Jayden Daniels for now. But to see what happens with the rest of the season, obviously that's how we'll make the league will make the decision. But Daniels was out 1 game, I think, with an injury. He's been more consistent from the start of the season till now. I know they lost to the Cowboys yesterday, but that last 2 minutes of the game were pretty crazy with a guy running back a touchdown and then an onside kick run back for a touchdown. So that score kind of got ballooned up. But no, Bo Nix is definitely surprised. At the beginning of the season, I was like, the Broncos are a defensive team and Bo Nix just doesn't need to lose the game for them. And it kind of turned around and he stepped it up and he has like more touchdowns than Jayden Daniels at this point. Not as many yards. And their completion percentages are about the same. So I think they're both playing really well with the teams that they're on. I just think it's how they end the season. And both of them are in tough divisions, I guess. I would say the Broncos are probably in a tougher division with Chargers and Chiefs now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I got my mind going.
Yeah, Washington continues to kind of fade.
Yeah.
A little bit. That one yesterday was a little bit of a heartbreaker.
Shock.
But then it has to be, right?
Yeah.
So Broncos doing well, and Knicks is a big part of that. And this is what happens. Like, this is why people don't go like, oh, we'll just get the old guy in here if this like young super guy is coming in and he's like, looks great.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I would like one of those.
Yeah.
Give me one of those.
I'll also say part of it is the eye test though, because like when I'm watching first, Jayden Daniels is great and he's going to have a great future. And the more experience he gets in the NFL, you're going to see his game just get better and better and better. But right now, like when I watch Washington, Jayden Daniels is great on his feet, great scramble. but he's a lot of backyard football. You know what I mean? Like he's running around, improvising. He's great at that. Whereas like when I watch Bo Nix play, like particularly this weekend, he just looks like a veteran. I mean, not in the first 4 weeks, but he looks more in command of the offense. You see him going through his progressions really quick, really fast. He's planting his feet, letting the ball go. Like he just looks like he's adapted to the NFL game a little bit quicker and is just kind of in command of his team a little bit more. So again, I don't know, like 3 years from now, who's the better quarterback, Jayden Daniels or Bo Nix? It could very well be Daniels because once he starts adding more of that seasoning to his game, he's going to be scary. But right now, I kind of think it's Bo Nix's to take. So we'll see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think? Do you think Bo Nix has surpassed Jayden Daniels in the Rookie of the Year conversation? I actually kind of think he has. It's still close. A lot of things can happen. But whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? We're heading into a Thanksgiving Day weekend. A lot of interesting matchups in the NFL for Week 13. So I thought, we haven't done this before on Filthy Sports, but I thought since it's the big Thanksgiving weekend and all the big games, we're going to do our picks for Week 13. And then we will go through next week the wins and losses. And whichever one of us had the worst picks will give everybody else in the room $100.
I was aware of this wrinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go through here and get our picks. So we're going to start with the 3 games happening on Thursday. Chicago at Detroit. Is there anybody in this room picking Chicago? No?
I don't
In
think
this
so.
room,
Yeah.
probably
Ray,
not.
you want to take
Ray?
a big leap?
No,
No, we're all good. All right. So just for the record,
you really want that $100? Huh?
okay. So for the record, we're all picking Detroit.
Yeah, I think so.
All due respect to Caleb Williams, who's
Yeah.
looking
There is
better.
no more all due respect. Come
Yeah,
on.
come on. All right. This one's a trickier one to pick. The next game up on Thanksgiving is the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, these are 2 pathetic teams.
This
But-
is the nap time game right here.
Yeah, this is nap time. Dallas did just get a win. It's in Dallas. The Giants look terrible. I'm actually going to say Dallas wins this game. Matt?
Yeah, they ride that momentum. Let's go.
That one game win
That's right.
momentum. Let's
That's right.
roll it.
No negative press week. Cloud 9. Yeah, we're gonna fly through. You can't lose on Thanksgiving. Would Cowboys lose every year on
All
Thanksgiving?
right, Ryan?
Yeah, the Giants stink.
Where are they playing?
In Dallas.
In Dallas. Cooper Rush looks all right. I'll say the Cowboys win.
Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the Cowboys.
All right. Ray's going to go with the
Ray's
Cowboys.
crushed. I'm sorry, buddy.
All right. In what is suddenly a really fun-looking game, there's no doubting the Miami Dolphins are a different-looking team when Tua Tagovailoa is their quarterback. Like, I mean, obviously every team is better when your starter's there, but like they are a night and day different team when Tua is behind center. So suddenly you've got the surging Miami Dolphins at Green Bay, who just beat up on the 49ers this weekend. I think this would be a tough one to call, but since it's in Green Bay, I'm going to take the Packers on this one. Matt?
Yeah, I'd like to build a case to not just look down this list and be like, yeah, I'll take all the favorites, but not yet. Green Bay, I think Green Bay's going to do it.
Ryan?
I'm going to go Dolphins.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dolphins.
Why is that?
They've been winning. Green Bay has won some games, but they also haven't impressed in some other games. And I think the Dolphins need this win more if they want to try to make the playoffs. So I'm going to say the Dolphins.
All right, so you're taking the Dolphins on this. Ray, you got the Dolphins or the
Yeah,
Packers?
I got the Dolph Lundgrens.
Yeah.
I'll take the Dolphins too.
Okay, Ray's going to take the Dolphins.
Other than
So we're split on this. So we got 2 of us going Green Bay, 2 of us going on the Dolphins. All right, we get into the Friday game, the very rare NFL Friday game, where it's the Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember, Kansas lost 2 weeks ago. They won on a last-second play
don't try
against
this.
a terrible team.
Don't
this
try
week.
this.
Don't try.
They
BS.
did.
Come on.
They won on a last second against a terrible team with a losing record.
Here, I'll give you $100 right now.
But it is in Kansas. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I mean, as we mentioned, Gardner Minshew is now out, so they're down to their next string quarterback. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. Matt?
yeah. Same.
Just Chiefs. Ryan.
It's in Kansas City.
It's
The
in
Chiefs are
Kansas-
better. Raiders are not good. Kansas City
But
Chiefs.
you never bet against Vegas. But this time you do.
Yeah.
This time,
Except
in this one. All right, now we get into the Sunday games. We've got the Chargers, who under Jim Harbaugh look totally different, and they're getting better and better every week, playing the Falcons, who have kind of been fading a bit. The game's in Atlanta, so I think it's going to be a closer game than you think, but I'm going to take the Chargers to win this. Matt?
Yeah, I don't think Atlanta's very good. I'll do a conditional just to change it, and then maybe mix this $100 up. If the Chargers lose today, then Harbaugh's going to be furiously pissed, and then they win next week. So if they win, then then I'll go Atlanta. So how about that?
It's Ravens and the Chargers tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Now,
yes.
by the time this shows up, that game's probably already going to be on. But
so
there we go.
that'll be my pick.
All right.
I'll do Chargers. They're just better.
Yeah,
That's it.
I mean, it is in Atlanta, but
they're good. They put up numbers, but the Falcons, they haven't looked good lately. The Chargers have. They need the win to keep pace to make the playoffs. So I'm going Chargers.
all right, Ray.
Yeah, Chargers.
All right, going with the Chargers on that. All right, next up, in a rematch of a game that happened just a little bit ago, Pittsburgh, the Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's go.
You know what?
I'm just kidding.
I'm taking the Bengals on this.
Oh, no, don't take the Bengals, John.
Why?
Because now they're going to lose. I'm just kidding. No. No, I'm with you. I'm going to cut the line. It's time we run the table. We've been messing around this whole season.
I think you waited too long.
You know what?
A little long.
So what?
So the Bengals.
Yeah,
Hey,
the
listen,
Bengals by 1.
The Steelers by 1.
An unconvincing.
I
They're
just
going to kick
Depressing.
their ass
yeah,
by
I
one.
just watched Gladiator 2. I haven't been that inspired by a speech.
Yeah.
By 1.
Why am I putting him?
Ray.
Yeah, one team.
Ray.
But listen, the Steelers just lost to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it was that snowball. By the way, I thought that was a great game.
Yeah.
I loved watching that football.
They're all division rivals too. They always play each other harder. All
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
NFC North.
But being at home, I'm taking the Bengals. Ray's taking the Bengals. Matt, what about you?
I'm gonna go Steelers.
You're gonna probably say
Ray, you stink.
I'm sorry.
Ryan.
He's right.
Who dey?
Oh, you're gonna go.
I'm
with
going
the
to go
Bengals.
for the Bengals. I think they're going to put up more points than the Steelers can stop and score.
Well, you guys are gonna look so foolish next week.
That's actually a great,
All right.
Oh, that's
I should-
it.
now that
I
Ray-
like Ray.
yeah,
oh, they're gonna score more
yeah,
points.
I
Ray's like,
think-
good
I think-
point. That's
By
really
one?
good.
by one.
or more.
All right. We got the better than I thought they would be this year, Arizona Cardinals versus the Minnesota Vikings, who again just came off a really great win with another one of those games that was just a wild last couple of minutes. But I mean, I think Minnesota's 9-2.
Yeah.
Their Sam Darnold's still looking great. It's in Minnesota, so I'm going to take the Vikings on this. Matt?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings as well too. I think the Cardinals, they probably should win just because they need it, but I think the Vikings are better.
They do need it, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan?
A Viking will beat a Cardinal. So I will go Vikings.
Vikings would
That's my logic today. No, I'm
Holy
kidding.
shit!
No, I go the Vikings. The Cardinals have looked good. All the NFC West is like tied. But I think the Vikings are better.
All right, Ray?
Yeah, Vikings.
Vikings. All right.
I like this way to do it.
Next up,
This is good.
we've got the Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots. Patriots, of course, got beat up again this week. It's in New England, which is interesting. The Colts have been playing better fundamental football. And even though it's in New England, I'm going to pick the Colts on this. Matt? Hard pick.
They're both not very good. Using the Ryan Myers method,
Oh, here we go.
a Patriot would ride a horse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
But if the horse kicked the Patriot,
I retract it.
yeah, all right. If this game was like 2005, I'd be really stoked. But it's not. So if
maybe
we
that's what it
Manny
is.
Brady again,
That's what it is.
But I'm gonna go with the Colts just because they're at this moment they're better than the Patriots. Although the Patriots have looked better and Drake May has looked pretty good, but I'm gonna go with the Colts.
He's got a future.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Yeah, he's got a
The whole
future.
team just needs to get better around him at this point.
All right, Ray, Colts or Patriots?
I'll go with the Patriots.
All right.
Yo.
Because I was only going to go with the Colts if Ryan picked the Patriots. So I'm gonna go with
So it's a little
Oh.
bit of
Yeah.
the Colts,
little bit
you know?
contrarian stuff in
Yeah.
there. All right. Next up, it's a game I'm going to love to watch just because I love seeing Aaron Rodgers lose.
Oh Jesus.
Oh,
Seattle
man.
Seahawks
Oh,
at the New York Jets. Seahawks been looking all right,
Yeah.
right? I mean, look, they should have had a better season up until this point than they've had. They have better potential than the results they've been getting, but they've been showing it a little bit more lately. I don't see any reason to believe in anything in the New York Jets. So even though the game's in New York, I'm going to take the Seahawks. Matt.
The game's in New York.
it's cold.
A jet
I
can
want to
fly
go Jets
faster
so
than
bad, but I don't have $100.
All right, so you're going to go Seattle?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Seattle.
Ryan? Now the Jets did get a win a couple of weeks
I know,
ago.
and this is one of those games that kills all the betters because it's like, oh, I'm gonna throw Seahawks in a tease. The Jets stink, so Seahawks.
All right, Ray.
You know what?
There we go.
Do it.
Here we
Ray.
go.
Do it, Ray.
The Jets,
Do it.
Aaron Rodgers gets scanned. Right? They realize
He's not human.
he's a god. And the Jets pull this one out, baby. I'm picking the Jets.
All right, Jets at home. Jets at home. Next
higher
up,
power.
Tennessee
Beautiful spiral.
at the Washington.
Tight spiral.
Injury don't stop spirals, baby.
Tennessee at Washington. You know what? Honestly, I'd be a little bit more torn about this if it was in Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
But I'm going to take Washington on this one. What
Yeah,
about you, Matt?
that's same. I'm gonna
All
take
right,
Washington.
right?
Yeah, Commanders.
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 Okay, Commanders across the board. All right. Houston Texans, who are fading. What do you need? You know, the
I was
doctor
about to say the get right. Get
Yeah.
prescribed a game against Jacksonville. So we got Houston at Jacksonville. Look, I'm going to take the Texans on this. This is exactly what they need, a confidence booster. If they lose this game, there's big problems in Houston, but I'm going to say the Texans.
Yeah, we don't
Matt.
have to do like point spread, right?
No,
we're just
$100.
going straight up
change
win or
some of
lose.
these games, but other ones.
Well, we're gonna be here all night. Come on.
Well, I mean, that's another way to do picks.
Oh, yeah.
No. I'm just. I want to know what I'm gambling with my $100.
It's just a straight win.
This game's really.
It's a straight win. Then
Who
I'm gonna
gets
go.
more points?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I have to go Texans.
All right.
Yeah,
I want to
Texans.
go Jackson.
Texans.
Texans.
And Ray's getting the Texans. All right. All right. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams, who've now won 4 of their last 6. Of course, they got beat pretty handily by a very, very good Philadelphia team the other night. They're going into another team that it turns out they stink. The New Orleans Saints, who started 2-0 and scored like almost 100 points in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it just fallen apart brutally. It is in New Orleans, but I think the Rams, they got exposed. They can't compete right now with the best teams in the league. But they're much more solid than they looked in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
I think just fundamentally, if it was in LA, I'd say this would be a big win for them. I think they'll squeak this one out. So I'm going to take the Rams over the Saints.
Yeah,
Matt?
same. I'm gonna take the Rams as well.
Ryan?
The Rams are better, although I do have an argument with your home field thing. The Rams have no home field. Half their stadium is other fans' teams.
That's true.
So they really don't ever have a full home game. But the Rams are better than the Saints, so I'll pick the Rams.
Ray, Saints or Rams?
I would take the Rams if I was a pussy.
Whoa!
The Saints are gonna win this one, baby.
The Saints will go marching.
That was
in.
the
The most.
pussy pick of the week.
That's our
Holy
new
guacamole.
segment.
Jeez.
The new segment. All right. Next up,
My mom watches this.
Yeah, holy cow.
I'm going to tell her not to watch this episode.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, who's getting healthier and looking dangerous again at the Carolina Panthers. I mean, look, again, this is one of these ones that Tampa Bay clearly should win, even though it's in Carolina. I mean, if there was points on this, hell, I'd give Tampa Bay 10.5. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay on this one, Matt.
Yeah, I like Baker Mayfield's really good this year. I've never watched him play as much as I have this year, and
He was running down the field blocking for his
Yeah.
receivers and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tampa
Yeah.
Bay.
Yeah.
And then and Panthers, they kind of stink, and they lost the heartbreaker. This is Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Ryan?
I'll do the Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks.
thanks for stopping by, Ray.
All right.
Anytime.
And what is probably going to be the best game of the week? Philadelphia Eagles
Yeah.
against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Baltimore Ravens, they're they're a tale of two teams, right? Like some weeks they look like nothing is going to stop them, and they'll lay an egg here and there against certain teams. But anyway, you got teams with great lines, all this kind of stuff. In Philadelphia, I'd say the Eagles, but I'm going to call for the upset in this one. I think in Baltimore, I think Baltimore pulls us out. I'm going to take the Ravens over the Eagles to snap the Eagles' 7-game win streak. Matt?
Yeah, the same. The same thing. If it was wherever that home team is, that's the real only edge I see on these ones. Both of them are, strong offenses that just wear you down.
All right, Ryan?
I'm going to go with the Ravens. They need to kind of do a prove-it game to me. They've not been as good as they were earlier in the season. But I still think in Baltimore, it's going to go with the Ravens.
Ray?
Who? It's Ravens and
Eagles.
I
Bird
can't go.
versus Bird.
I can't go against my my division right there. So I'll
yeah.
go with the Rams. I meant the Ravens. but you're wrong about the best game of the week. Best game of the week is on the dinner table, right? And best move is me sliding past that dry ass turkey and making some fried chicken for all of us.
Oh, there you go.
Let's go.
With all the fixins.
Everyone knows turkey's overrated.
All right, 2 games left. We got what might be the second best game of the week. San Francisco 49ers, hopefully a little healthier. Maybe their quarterback will be back, all that kind of stuff, at Buffalo. Right now, Buffalo is my pick in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. It is in Buffalo. San Francisco they're going to have more players on the field, but they're still a little bit banged up. They've been struggling. I think this is going to be a statement game for Buffalo, so I'm going to take the Bills. Matt?
Yeah, Buffalo's going to win this one.
All right, Ryan?
Bills crush them.
Yeah, probably.
Bills crush them. Ray, 49ers or Bills?
I don't. Bills, for sure.
Bills. All right, now the last game of the week, which is suddenly now more interesting than it was a couple of days ago. As the 1-game win streak, Cleveland Browns, having just beaten the surging Pittsburgh Steelers
Turning that ship.
against Bo Nix and the aforementioned Denver Broncos in Denver. I think this is going to be a better game than people think. I think Denver wins, but I think it's going to be a better game than people think. Anyway, Ryan, who do you got? You got the Browns or you got the Broncos? In Denver, remember.
I got the Broncos, and I have a question, John.
Uh-oh.
Has there ever been more of a Star Wars name in football than Bo Nix?
Jedi Master Nix.
Bo Nix. That's like a straight up Star Wars name.
It does sound very much like a Star Wars name.
No, the Broncos, they're playing better. They need to win to keep pace with the Chiefs. The Browns have been way better without Deshaun Watson, but I don't think they're as good as the Broncos.
Ray, you got the Browns or the Broncos?
I cannot go against my division.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
You take the Browns.
I'm taking the Browns. Bo Nix has 20 turnovers in one game.
That's what's
Eliminating half of them.
Yeah.
That's going to be a bad game, man.
Yeah.
That's a bad game. Matt?
Browns win by 1.
20 turnovers and they only win by 1.
Yeah. I'm going to go
Man.
with the Browns as well. I want
Browns?
more Jameis interviews all the time.
You've been giving those.
I want him like
We are not even picking anymore.
it doesn't matter. Pre-game, I want him to talk to him. If they could mic
Yeah.
him up, I'd also listen to that.
Yeah.
Halftime and then post-game, all of it.
Did you hear his quote, John?
No, what was his quote?
Oh God.
I don't know. He got crazy eyes and started singing a song. It was good.
He got crazy as started singing a
It's great.
song.
He
Ryan's going to pull up
Yeah,
the
it's
quote.
great.
I have not heard the quote.
Yeah.
And so who was your pick, John? You picked Bo
I
Nix.
picked up,
the
Bo Nix.
Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos.
Broncos.
Is who I got in there. Were you able to find the quote, Ryan?
Oh, I can't find it.
Okay.
It was like you got going to battle on horseback.
That's
and
right.
He's like talking like generals and all this stuff. And
I
it was
love
like,
I love a good weirdo.
That's it.
And he's
the horse is preparing for battle, but victory comes from the Lord.
you're dead ass. That's right.
And then they won the game.
So see,
And, then
bring
they
me
won
a
the
nice
game.
crispy $100 bill next week, camp ya?
Because Jameis is going to make it so.
I never knew horses were legal.
Horses were legal in the NFL. All right.
Broncos.
Guys, questions for you. You got a big pick for week 13? Go on down. Jump into the comments and let us know what you think. All right. With that down, guys, I got on YouTube a little bit earlier and posted in the Filthy Sports community tab asking you guys if you had any questions you want us to address. So I thought we would do that. So let's take a few minutes here and take some questions you guys sent in. The first one's come to us from Orange Hand, who writes, where do you guys expect Juan Soto to end up? All right. I don't mean this as a homer, But he's going to be a Dodger. He's going to be a Dodger.
Sure.
The Dodgers don't just want to win 1 or 2 titles. They want to be the next baseball dynasty. They've got Shohei locked up. They've got Mookie locked up. They've got the money. And thanks in part to the fact that Shohei right now is literally making $2 million a year, they got some flexibility. They can spend big on so. He's young. He's talented. I think he's going to end up as a Dodger. Matt, I know that would be your nightmare.
Whatever, man.
That'd be your nightmare.
He's not going to be
as
in
the resident
Anaheim.
Angels fan.
He's not going to be in Anaheim. Why not? Where else would it be? Yeah, like, sure. Why not?
I mean,
That makes sense to me just about like.
I mean, he could end up back on the Yankees. They could try to keep him. The Mets could try to get him
that's the other team I'm actually worried about getting
because
is
it's
the
still in
Mets.
New York at least. But
Yeah, I'm worried about the Mets
You
getting
think
him.
that the Mets were a Soto away from
I
getting
do
those
think I
Dodgers out?
think they were. I mean, like their story, they were one of the best stories last year, the
Yeah.
Mets. And the way their season like headed into the stretch. I mean, that would be a nice place for him, but I really do think he's going to end up
Yeah, great.
as
Wherever he goes, it'll be me watching him somewhere else.
it's not going to be in Anaheim.
I'll be like, good for them. I'm glad everybody over there is having a great time.
All right. Our next question comes to us from Sir Malston, who is asking, who is the NBA frontrunner for MVP? And we're what, 15, 20 games into the season now?
Yeah, something like that.
Ooh. I
Tatum?
honestly, you got one?
Tatum. Yeah, maybe Tatum.
I mean,
Tatum's looking
Giannis. Giannis
Giannis is back.
I watched Giannis take.
Yeah,
I don't remember
he's-
who it was. I watched him take. Well, he took apart the Bulls
Yeah,
the
but
other day.
Unless you win some games, it's hard for them to vote for you for an MVP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's
If it's just based on right now,
Yeah.
I mean, like Donovan Mitchell, because
Donovan Mitchell.
they have the best record.
Yeah, with Cleveland.
Giannis,
Are they
AD's
still
been
only
playing
one
well.
loss? Cleveland still
Yeah.
only has the one
Yeah.
loss, and that was against the Celtics.
And Matt said Davis, he has like 30 and 10 average.
Yeah, I always go with
Lakers
Davis.
records has been pretty
yeah,
good.
but the problem with Davis is, does anybody believe he's going to stay healthy through the season?
Well, that hasn't happened yet.
He
For
did- I mean,
right
he did-
now.
if we're just
Yeah,
talking
right now.
If we're talking just right now,
Yeah.
then yes. If you're talking end of the season, then it's probably going to end up being Jokic,
Yeah.
Giannis,
Yeah.
and Luka, because that's what it always ends up
Yeah,
being.
Luka's
But
hurt.
if we're talking about right now, Davis should be considered.
Yeah. Davis, Mitchell, Tatum.
Kawhi.
All right, let's go to this thing here. William writes, 49ers season over or nah?
Probably.
It's over.
Probably.
I think so.
It's
Even if they
over.
did make the playoffs, I don't think they're better than the Lions or anybody else.
Well, and they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if they were, look, it might be a different, if they had the record they had right now, but they were completely healthy,
Yeah.
nobody's banged up, they got all their manpower and whatever, they could make a run. But the fact is, even with, I mean, Ayuk's not coming back, Purdy's banged up. Purdy, by the way, his contract's coming up.
he's going to want a lot of money.
And you know what? He shouldn't get a lot of money. He's a good, serviceable quarterback.
maybe
But
Rodgers goes back to the Bay Area.
Rodgers,
Jesus
the
Christ.
quarterback for the San Francisco
They need a
49ers
quarterback,
next
right?
year.
He's from there. It's
I-
his team from his childhood.
But I mean, if they're fully healthy, maybe. But I don't think they make the playoffs. I think their season's over.
Yeah,
I think it's
probably.
over. All right. Jayden Carter writes,
Jayden, fake name. Go on.
defense is looking spotty, but Mahomes is playing better. But plus picking up new LT and Humphreys, how confident are you that the Chiefs will once again represent the AFC in the Super Bowl? Zero confidence.
Will.
No, no. I mean, they're going to be a contender in the AFC, but they ain't getting past Buffalo.
I mean,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure they can beat right now. If they play if they have a rematch of Week 1 and they play the Ravens, I don't think they beat the Ravens either. Like I think Buffalo is winning this division. Buffalo just beat Kansas last week.
Yeah.
So I do not. And listen, they're barely scraping by against teams they should be beating easily. So again, they just won on a last-second field goal against a bad team. And even Mahomes said after the game, it's like, we need to be getting blowouts, not
Yeah.
wins. Not wins against these teams. If we want to establish our dominance in the league, we got to get back to blowouts. Now, season's not over, but I don't have. Hey, does anybody else think the the Chiefs like beat-
Zero?
It has to be more than 0 just
Yeah.
because they've.
Okay, I'll go 5%.
Are they-
Son of a
beating
bitch.
Buffalo?
Yeah, are they the favorite? I
No,
would say
probably
no,
not.
but until they lose in the playoffs, they have a chance. So I
and
I
they-
would say
they're-
they're up there 30%, something like that, 40%. Because Ravens, them, the Bills, those are, and whoever else you want to say from AFC, like those are the top teams
Steelers.
to make Steelers, maybe Chargers.
They're
Even who
10-1.
knows? Yeah,
Yeah, it can't be. What'd you say? 5%?
5%.
Well, Jayden, John's gonna
Yeah,
take a
5%.
shit
I
on
give
your
them
Chiefs.
I give them more credit than that, but I do think the Bills are better than them right
Yeah.
now from what I've seen. But
All right. So getting back to that a little bit, Adam
Oh, no.
Sandoval is asking, what are your guys' predictions for which two teams will face off in the Super Bowl as of today? And when the playoffs are set, you can do another presentation. I think right now, I'll go so far as to say this. I'll be surprised if the Super Bowl is not the Detroit Lions versus the Buffalo Bills. I'll be surprised. Now, obviously, there are a couple of other teams that could get in there, but if we get to the Super Bowl right now and it's not those two teams, I'll be a little bit surprised. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think that's probably the two you would go to. The only NFC, I think for sure, Detroit. I don't see anybody else. But yeah, I probably
if rosters are the same as they are now, nobody falls off. I think it should be Lions and Bills.
All right.
yeah.
Unknown writes, we kind of discussed this, but will Aaron Rodgers be in the NFL next season or will he retire? You know what? I'll go back to what I was saying a little bit earlier. 24 hours ago, I would have said Aaron Rodgers will not be in the league next year because I think he's going to retire. I don't think, when I look at him and I watch him play, just his body language, the way on the field, off the field, he does not look like he's enjoying himself at all. And the dude's got all the money in the world. So I would have said that. But like hearing this story that he's like refusing to get medical scans because he doesn't want to get benched and all, maybe he does want to play. It'll come down to if another team wants him.
Yeah, there's reports that say he does want to play.
Yeah, I've read those. Like he does want to play next year.
I think there's a possibility that the start of the season he's not around, and then some injuries happen, and someone's like, "Well, let's call him up and see if he wants to come in." So I think he'll be somewhere next year. I just don't know where.
It's just hard to imagine where, right? Because okay, so Pittsburgh's not looking for a quarterback. No. It doesn't matter what's going on in Jacksonville. They're not about to move off Blondie. I mean, I just don't know where you go. Where would want an Aaron Rodgers?
It has to be a team that's ready to contend, and their star quarterback gets hurt, and they just need someone to come in and
try to get them over the.
Try to not hold the fort till the guy comes back, because he's not going to a team that doesn't have a good line or a good defense and going to win games. So it has to be a team that's set up to succeed.
Right, but
so
to do that,
though, there's not a space
to do
for
that though. That means you have to either offer to sign him as a backup, which I don't think he's going to accept. I mean, there's no chance in hell Aaron Rodgers goes somewhere as a backup. Or you're going to have this 41, turning 42-year-old quarterback who doesn't participate in a training camp, will have been sitting on his ass for however many months until you get to a place later on. And then at that point, if you're a team that has a star quarterback and you have a chance to make a playoff run, at that chance, do you want to go to the 42-year-old who's been sitting on his ass for 8 months, or do you want to trust your backup? And so,
yeah,
it's hard. It's
that
difficult.
could tour torpedo the team when he's like,
yeah,
all right, you're two,
too.
and then he's like,
His
fuck this.
attitude that's the thing, is he's I don't want to say team killer, but kind of like he's not. I don't know. He doesn't seem to. Teammates don't seem to like him very much, from what it seems like.
Well, he's thrown them under the bus at press conferences.
I mean, but that spiral, John, is pretty tight. Like
It's
Ray
a tight
said.
spiral. All right, time for one last question. This one's interesting, actually. It comes to us from Josh Carlos. And it's funny because I saw Shaquille O'Neal talking about this, and this is an interesting question. Josh Carlos writes, NBA viewership is starting to fall a bit. What do you think is the issue? Is it the limited access to their games, or is it the pricing for them since they're scattered across different platforms and streamers with the upcoming Amazon partnership? Plus, the marketing of new players/stars has been stagnant for the most part. Be interesting where the league will be once LeBron, KD, and Steph hang it up. That's a really good question, because I saw that. You guys saw that like through the first 4 weeks. that viewership had dropped like 30%.
It's just me and Ryan watching, I think. That was it.
Yep.
And the question about like what do you think it is? What's the problem? I think Shaquille said, and it might have been him or it might have been Barkley that said this, but like basically the league is just pass the ball around the perimeter and heave up a three. Like that seems to be the whole game right now for everybody, and that's boring to watch. I mean, when Steph Curry changed the game, it was dynamic, but now it's just pass, heave a three. There doesn't seem to be a lot of, I mean, the not really marketing the stars anymore. I don't know. Like Luka gets a lot of attention. The guys in Boston are getting a lot of attention. So I don't know if that's the case. Is it not as exciting of the game? I mean, basically they don't play defense anymore. Like you look at the scores now. I can't remember the last time I saw a game where at least one of the teams wasn't in triple digits.
Yeah.
Or how many times both teams aren't in triple
but people
digits.
didn't like that either. When it was like when the Pistons won championship and
60
they're like,
to
this
54, don't they?
Yeah,
I mean, but there's got to be a happy middle ground
Yeah.
this summer. So Matt, like,
there's probably just more stuff to watch, right? I honestly like the offensive stuff. I wouldn't think that it's like, boy, this offense is really stagnant. I don't think I'm gonna watch the NBA tonight.
Right.
And like people do. There's a ton of players sitting out constantly for whatever load management injury.
well, the
risk.
Joel
So-
Embiid thing has got a lot of people mad.
but attendance isn't down, right? It's just the ratings.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it's also like with all the sports stuff, everybody's like it's a big commitment. Football's the only one that can destroy a whole day.
Yeah.
Everything else, like they're like speed it up, quick, faster, let's go, pitch clock, let's go. It's a big commitment, and like I got season 1 of the Penguin to watch.
There's also the disparity in like the teams, like especially on the East. I think like you guys were saying, the East is like there's only like 2 or 3 top teams. Who's gonna watch a game where one team is like almost gonna get buried by another? Also, like when I paid attention to the league, it's because I had that one player I followed. It's been that way since I started. Jordan, then came Shaq, then came Kobe, then Derrick Rose. There's always like eyes on somebody. I don't
Not
have
been the
that.
same since Vince Carter.
I don't have that right now.
LeBron's been playing for 20 years.
No,
Like,
no,
right?
No, it was LeBron, but then I kind
trying to
of
play my ass off over here.
No. There is LeBron too. I didn't mention him, but he's one of them. But I felt like the Lakers got him a little too old. I mean, I
won a title with him.
But I couldn't enjoy all those years because I was busy rooting against him, which is another reason to watch basketball.
Well,
you don't have to have a favorite. You could root against people and want to watch.
LeBron's played for the Lakers.
And then the next guy was supposed to be John Morant.
Yeah.
The next guy was supposed to be John Morant, but then he decided to be Thug Life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now he's not being promoted at all. So I haven't been
He's
watching.
injured a
And he's
lot.
hurt. Yeah.
I haven't been watching. And Caitlin Clark was the closest thing to basketball that I was paying attention.
I was going to bring
She was playing
Isn't the
basketball.
craziest thing to say? Like today, and I mean this. I'm not being no hyperbole. Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Right now is the biggest basketball star in the world. It's not anybody in the NBA. Caitlin Clark's the biggest star in basketball.
Sure.
She draws the most attention. She's like everybody talks about her more.
I think it's like quite a few things. All the stuff you guys are talking about are part of that. Another issue is there's tons of games.
Yeah.
And
Tournaments.
they're on 20 different channels and you need to have 5 subscriptions.
Yeah.
Or Lakers, you can't watch any games unless you have Spectrum. So I think it's access to the games, the price, the players, the play style. I think it's a lot of stuff.
Well, and here's how much of it is this. Now, I know this is also a problem they would face in other years, but maybe it's a bigger problem this year than others. Matt kind of brought it up. NFL's going on right now.
Yeah.
And like all due
That's
respect
true.
to basketball fans everywhere, NFL is way more popular
Yeah,
than the
there is
NBA.
that too. Like,
Yeah.
the NFL's they're gonna lose that every time until it goes, and it's so early because like Ryan said, 82 games is a lot of games, and these games kind of
basketball
don't
doesn't
matter.
really.
I didn't say it don't matter.
Yeah,
These
bas-
they matter to me, Dan.
well, they matter for their records, but
and
like,
the NBA Cup.
most people don't. Well, we'll see how that goes. Most people really don't check into basketball until after New Year's.
Yeah.
Like that's when the couple months or the month before All-Star, and then the playoffs are a few months after that. So, and people sit out.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think is the explanation behind the dip in popularity of the NBA, at least viewing numbers for this part of the season compared to last season? Whatever you guys think, jump down in the comments below and let us know your thoughts. And all right, guys, that brings us to a close of another installment of Filthy Sports. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate it. So for everybody in the room, Ray.
Keep going.
Oh, you gotta go.
Ryan. And boys, hit the showers.
Ryan.
Have a happy Thanksgiving to American fans.
Matt.
Goodbye.
I'm John Campion. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.